now we move to Ian and Totem Ball, which was for Xbox Live Arcade.
Hello?
Yep. Hi, everyone. Totem Ball actually just came out, as you can see, very recently. It's a camera game, and it was funded by Microsoft. And it came bundled with the Xbox Live Vision camera. So it is, in and of itself, it's marketing. So the whole selling of it aspect is a lot smaller. Let me see. It actually took about 6 months to make. That number is wrong, which is my fault. I reported it wrong. I was corrected. First line.
You know, in Indiana, 6s are upside down.
I see what you're saying. Yeah. We were working on another project which we were able to reuse. So we also sort of started with another engine, so we gained a couple months there. But it was really only 6 months start to finish. The budget was only $400,000, which in the scheme of the sort of title we were trying to make and in the time we were trying to make it, was actually pretty tight. And if you can go to the next slide, it was, so as you can see, well, first I'll finish talking about the structure of it. It was actually made by a company called Strange Flavor, which Freeverse is an equity partner in. Strange Flavor is mostly two very experienced console developers in England. They're two brothers. And we sort of partnered with them a few years ago, and they wanted to sort of go it on their own, and we sort of funded them and set up a relationship, and we sort of handle all the business side of it, and that sort of frees them to just be pure development house. And it's been working pretty well so far. So Microsoft approached us, and they said, we're coming out with this camera next year, and we need a game for it. And it presented some interesting options. One thing is, obviously, the competitor that was in the air at that time was the Sony iToy. And those games are micro games, and they're almost like showpieces. They're meant to be very small, and you're just doing the same thing over and over again. And so Microsoft wanted to do something different, and we wanted to do something different. And so we decided to make a platform game. And in this one, you play a turtle who rolls around on a ball, and it's got this whole backstory. In short, there's these totem pieces that got spread all over, and you have to collect them. There's some logical puzzles in it, because there's things like limbo bars, and you have to have, if you have too many totem pieces, you can't go through them, but you need all the totem pieces in order to actually exit the level and go to the next one. So a lot of the constraints, this game was all about constraints, given the time and given the oversight of Microsoft. And so the first constraint, obviously, is the camera control. The camera control gives you what's basically a pointer the size of your fist, at best. And so that really limits your interfaces. What we did is the waterfalls on either side are just sliders, and you drive around like you're driving a tank game. You just go forward and slow down, turn around this way. And so that was the interface. So because it was a platform game and a longer style game, it sort of limited us. We were trying to make the interface the camera just be a controller, and not just be another input device, as opposed to sort of integrated into the way it worked. And as you collect the tone pieces, they're musical. We also decided to make a musical game, and they sort of overlay different tracks, and it becomes sort of more and more compelling with music. And that's there's a mini game in it where you're juggling, and you collect the right sound things. You're trying to make them the same. There's another mini game that we added to it, which is basically pinball. I think the next slide is that.
Do you want me to go back 2 slides? I can do that.
Is there the previous slide? Oh yeah, this is the pinball game. And it turned out the main difficulty in the game is that using the camera to control a game of long term is actually really hard. So I have like the smallest shoulders in my office at this point, because everyone's spent months. And so we had to build in things like actual time breaks and these mini games to sort of change what you were doing. I guess that was it. I mean, we're still getting, the initial feedback has mostly been that it's just the most painful game ever released. So at least you're first. But again, we were trying to, as Greg was saying, we're trying to sort of push the envelope in terms of what could be done with a camera game. And I think we sort of did. It has a lot of interesting features. And so I'm sort of proud of that. I think in terms of gameplay and fun, I think it doesn't It's not a huge success, but it's close, and like we're excited because we have some content packs coming out that can really sort of change focus a little more. But I'm happy with Microsoft's oversight was actually an interesting part of this business. It's the first time we've done something for Xbox Live, and the whole content certification process, and because it was their dime, it was just interesting to have them so involved in the project. I'm used to not having other sort of third parties involved in the projects that Freeverse does. And in sort of a good way. It kept us very, very much on track and very much focused on, because it was bundled with a piece of hardware, there was no slipping allowed. And so things were sort of ripped out, and things were added in just to get it out. And it was a good experience. And we'll be doing some more 360 games with this.
Thank you, Ian.